So we're now up to step 3 of our 4 steps in configuring the SoHoBlue unit. We're going to take a look at the sidebar menu very briefly and look at some of the more relevant commands on it. Then we're going to take a look at the relevant configuration commands and get us connected onto the internet. So here's our main menu, and on the left we have the top level of the various commands. If we click on network, we can see that it expands, and there's a number of useful commands here, such as diagnostics, which we'll talk about in the third video. Perhaps the 2 most useful commands at this stage to very briefly look at are the link that says about this product. This page shows you useful information like the field here which says release, which is the version of firmware or software that we're running, and we're running a version called 6.1.0. and if you need to make a support call into the SoHoBlue technical people, then they're going to want to know what version of software you're running, and we can tell them by going onto this page that it's 6.1.0. The other useful command to quickly have a look at is back here on the left is power, and if we need to shut down the system gracefully, like you shut down your PCs gracefully, then you could use this command to shut it down. But we're not going to do that because we're going to configure the unit and get it working. So to get back to the menu that we were on, the main page, at any point you can always click on the SoHoBlue logo and it takes you back to the main menu. So we're now on to the 4th and final step of our procedure in getting the SoHoBlue working. We're going to be using the commands that are there on the main menu page. First of all, we're going to change the administration password. Then we're going to take a look at the network connectors. Then we're going to take a look at licensing, because we want our SoHoBlue to come up with the UTM license and all the extra security that that provides. Then we're going to make sure that we connect off to the internet and then discuss what your next steps are after that. So here we are back on the main menu again, and here are the 4 most relevant commands that you're going to need to use to get the product working off to the internet. So let's click on user accounts, the first command. We need to change the default password, otherwise security is going to be very poor indeed. So the current password it's asking for, and of course that is password. And I'm going to give it a new password, and it asks me to type that in again, and I click OK, and here it acknowledges that the password has been changed. So we can prove that our new password works by logging out and then logging back in again. So the username is still admin, and I'm going to put in my new password. And I'm back on again. So my admin password has been changed correctly. So having successfully changed our administration password, the first option here, we're now going to go down and click on this second link to look at the network connectors. You may remember in the first video we used LAN 1 as our local area network port on which we connect our PCs, and on LAN 2 that's physically the port that we use to connect off to the internet. So in our case the SoHoBlue actually connects physically off to the ADSL router. So what we need to do here on LAN 2 is select the drop down which says Ethernet cable / ADSL, and that's what most folks will have to do, is to configure the WAN port to talk to an ADSL modem. And all we need to do now is click on OK, and you can see that it says Ethernet cable / ADSL. So we've successfully changed that, and we just click OK again. And it says in confirmation that connectors have been updated. So we'll now go back by clicking on the SoHoBlue logo back to our main menu. And so we have done the administration password change, we've done the connectors change. There isn't any need at this stage to look at the firewall. We will cover this topic in the fault finding video, the third video, and take a look at the firewall settings at that point. But at this stage, all we need to do now is to add our license for Unified Threat Management, UTM. So we'll click on this link and we'll go ahead and add a license. So we're going to go ahead and add our license. Click on add here, and on this page we've got a number of pieces of information to add. In this first field here we need to put the serial number of our unit that we've written down, the 12-digit serial number that's from the sticker on the bottom of the unit. The second field, we need to type in our proof of purchase number, and I'm going to type those 9 digits in right now, checking carefully that I'm putting the right number in there. If I don't put the right number in there, it's not going to work. License key is in the third field. Now that's what the system is going to provide for us, so we leave that blank. We have just put in a proof of purchase number. The system is going to create a license key from that proof of purchase number. And the final piece of information that the process is after at this stage is the administration email account. So I put my email address in at that juncture. And then click OK. The system has now come back and confirmed that this is what we're about to submit to the cloud-based system that is controlling all the licensing. This is my serial number, this is my proof of purchase number, this is my email address. And I'm now going to click on OK. So I've got to the registration page on the central registration server, and it's requiring me to put in my name and my address details and how many users I have on my LAN. I get that I need to select the product type, which is SoHoBlue. I get the opportunity to put my reseller, if I've purchased the product through a reseller, their name and email address, and finally I have to click on the agreement that I've read the terms and conditions and then click continue. Since that's going to take a few minutes to enter that information, I'll do that and come back to you. So I've entered all the requested details, name and address, number of users on the LAN, and all I have to do now is click on this box to say I've read the terms and conditions and click continue, and click continue again, and I come back to the SoHoBlue unit and it confirms that a license has been added. So what I can do at this juncture is click on next, and it shows me what features have been enabled and which ones haven't been configured or enabled as yet. So I can see that my CLAM antivirus has been enabled, my smart filter URL filtering has been enabled, for example, the antivirus scanning enabled, spam assessment enabled, and so I'm going to leave this as it is and just click on OK to finish the sequence, and one more time OK. So we've finished adding the license, and you'll notice that the red text at the top has gone, and there is a valid license upgrade or UTM license added. So that's us finished with the sequence of adding a license. So let's review what we've done very quickly. We've changed the default administration password. We've changed the WAN side network connector to be suitable for an ADSL modem. We haven't done anything with the firewall at the moment, but we have added a UTM license. And you'll notice that the warning message at the top here has gone, the message in red, and it's saying that we've got a valid license added. So really all that remains to be done is to see if we can browse out onto the internet. So to test whether our configuration is correct and we're all wired up correctly, let's open a window on our browser, another window, and let's go for Google. Yes, we connect through to Google. So that means we are all set on the browsing side. What we'll do in some subsequent videos is to show you how to configure and tune other elements of the UTM system on SoHoBlue. This includes things like antivirus, anti-spam and URL filtering. But for now, thanks very much for watching. Thank you. Goodbye.